Alrighty, folks, we are so lucky at this channel to have a top 1% agent in the country back with us every Tuesday. Beth Traverso, how you doing, Beth?
I'm doing great, Mike. So good to be back here. I missed you last couple weeks.
Yeah, we didn't we weren't able to touch base the last
Yeah,
couple of weeks. I was busy, you were busy, but
paths just weren't quite crossing, but
yeah, but
glad to be
we are here
back.
now,
Yes.
and we have 7.5% mortgage rates. You operate in a
Oof.
market where the median
Yeah.
home prices call it $1 million. So the market has to be crashing. Nobody could afford 7.5% and $1 million. The market has to be stopped. Is that what's going on? Is this like last July and August, or what's going on?
It's not at all like last July and August. Last July and August was a massive shock to the system because
I
we went
remember.
from in our spring or early spring, which for us is our busiest time of the year. We went from all of that intensity to hitting that brick wall when the rates started going up, up, up.
I remember.
And it almost was sort of a panic ensuing, and a lot of buyers just pulled back completely. They didn't know what to, people needed some time to process and see what to make of it.
Hmm.
Sellers were feeling a little anxious that maybe they had missed the boat, and there was a lot of anxiety going on at that time. It was just kind of like a lot of turmoil happening last summer.
Hmm.
This summer is a little different. People have adjusted to the higher rates.
Oh
It
wow.
does make a difference going from a little under 7 to 7.5. Like that is impactful. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. It
Mhm.
is, but it doesn't seem to be as big of a um impact as the increases that we had last summer for comparing those two time periods. So what I am seeing is a little slower right now. And the other thing that makes it interesting, Mike, is that there's so little inventory in my
Mhm.
buy box that it's hard to tell what happened or is happening right now, how that's playing out when you have so few data points to reach conclusions from.
Yeah.
But what I am seeing is that houses that are prepped and priced well, they're still moving. I am starting to see the days on market creep up a little bit in certain cases.
Hmm.
It seemed like earlier this summer we were seeing the bidding wars back a little bit. Now it seems like
Right.
that's backed off some.
Okay.
So, but it's definitely not. I'm not seeing crashes. I'm not seeing any huge price corrections or massive price drops.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that yet.
And it's really interesting because again, people can go back to your playlist and find the videos from last year. And it was a scary time. It was very much like a car hitting a brick wall. I mean, I remember our conversations about nobody showing up in open houses. It's like,
Yeah.
rates went from 4 to 6, which is, up 50%, and people just didn't know how to act. And like, I'm out, right? Now we're
Yeah.
going from 6.5 to 7.5. It's not quite the same spread, but it's got to have an impact.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm seeing in most of the country is clean properties below the median still
Oh yeah.
selling. There's just none of them.
Mhm.
And there's no net new inventory or very little. But I am starting to see days on market creep up in what I'll call the luxury segment
Yeah.
because even the cash buyers are like, you know what? I'll wait. I'll see where this
Mhm.
is going. And that's what I think is going to impact days on market. It's the stuff above the median that's going to start aging out, and the cheap stuff on the low end is going to still move pretty quick, I think.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too. And I was just looking before our call, and in my area, which is East King County. I'm in the Seattle area, just for those who don't know. The but east of Seattle, the more rural area. What I saw was the houses that are in the top third of prices
Mhm.
were generally speaking around 100 days or so on market or more.
Yeah.
And that's just normal. It doesn't mean something's
Well,
flawed
it's
with the
it's
property
normal.
necessarily.
I want to clear this up, and if I'm wrong, please tell me. It's normal, but not what we've seen the last 2 years. Is that
Yeah.
fair?
Yeah.
And that's what I think people need to hear. A lot of people have recency bias, and when rates are 3% or it's a hot market and everybody's working from home and they want space and they want land,
Mhm.
these properties in the upper third, we're probably having days on market, I'm going to guess sub 50.
Yeah.
But now we're back at 100, very much like Adrian in Orange County, right? The multi-million dollar properties are routinely over 100 days, and that's normal, just not the last 2 years. So it's
Yeah, people
pretty
just need to
interesting.
pace themselves, and sellers that I'm talking to now on that price point, we need to frame the expectations, set them right. We're not going to be selling in a week with bidding wars. It's going to probably, it's going to be something that's going to need to be, you just got to just be more patient and take your time. Interestingly, I am starting to see more trophy properties start to hit the market, ones at even
Ooh,
higher price points than I've seen almost ever in our area, which for me is
interesting.
around the 4 million or so mark. Like we didn't typically see those coming on the market, or they weren't that high of a price. They might be 3 or something, but now people are testing the market even higher. I'm not really sure why that is. I'm still
Hmm,
contemplating that, but I've seen a handful of them recently that were a little bit
interesting.
unexpected.
Yeah. So again, a trophy property, again, folks, look in your area, look in your market. It's typically a property 200% or more of the median. You'll know them when you see them. But it is interesting that King County or Seattle area would have those. I mean, think about the sellers with the trophy property. My expectation, again, correct me if I'm wrong, this usually is not their only home, right? This is a
Yeah.
second or third home. Also, interestingly enough, many times the trophy property is not their main residence, it's a vacation home or something
Yeah.
like that. Um, I wonder if it's people, I don't know. I wonder if it's people just pulling back. I don't know. What do you think?
If I had to make a guess, of course, everyone's situation is going to be
Oh,
unique
of
to their
course.
lives, of course, but I would guess that they're probably people who have had some sort of lifestyle change where they just don't need all that anymore. And maybe they've
Right.
moved to a different state and they don't want to maintain a
Yeah.
equestrian estate in Washington, because those properties require
Yeah.
staff most of the
Yeah.
time, and
It's a big run rate. Yeah.
yeah, so they don't, even if they own them outright, it's still just the maintenance factor and just the hassle factor and upkeep of a property like that
Yeah.
might be stirring
Yeah.
that desire to simplify.
Yep.
There might be some simplification,
I think
where
so.
maybe in the years past it was about people going the other way of like, well, I've got a more standard house. I want to live the dream of the
Mhm.
farm, the equestrian, the
Right.
land, the shop, the views, whatever it is that they're
Yeah.
going for privacy. Yeah.
And we're going to talk about this in video number 2, but if you happen to be one of the lucky human beings that are shopping for ultra luxury property, this is going to be your time to write disrespectful offers. Patrick Bet David has talked about penthouses in Miami, you know, 30%, 40% under
Yeah.
asking, because you just never know.
Mhm.
Um, People know my story. Olivia and I were shopping for something that was 3x the median for the market. And at the time, we were writing offers 20 to 30% below, and the sellers weren't ready. A couple of the properties that I tracked ended up transacting right around the numbers that we gave them.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah, so like one of them was we offered 1.2, it ended up transacting at 1.25. It would have been the number I would have accepted as well, but he needed 3 more
Sometimes
months
people
to.
have to go through their psychological process to get there.
Yeah, they weren't living there. It was a big
Mhm.
run. It was a big house. It was, yeah, it was costing them a lot, and they had debt on it.
Yeah.
Um, so again, if you happen to be that lucky human being shopping for ultra luxury, write disrespectful offers. I wouldn't shop for anything, Beth, less than 100 days on market.
Right. And
I
there's a
would,
lot of them out there at that price point, and they expect it. That's the other thing too.
yeah,
If the agents are telling, we're talking to the sellers, confidentially, it's like, hey, people are writing, and I've had listings that were up in the upper echelon of price recently where, a lot of the conversation was that people are making offers multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars under
yeah,
list.
for
Don't be
sure.
surprised or shocked or offended when that happens. It's just what people are doing right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Well,
respond how you
yeah,
want to respond, but just know that that's coming, because I've been seeing that for a while now, probably at least 6 months, where the sale price would be a couple 100,000 under the list price, which in our area, that's a little unusual historically, because it seemed like in the past buyers would wait for the seller to walk the price down, And then when it gets where they
Now
think it
they're
should be,
leading.
then they jump in. I remember the sellers were like, why aren't they just making an offer? Sellers want you to make those offers. If you're worried about offending a seller, I mean, a lot of times they'll be like, well, why aren't people just making an offer? They'd rather have a low offer than no offer. So
I'm glad you said that.
Make those
We're going to
offers.
talk about that in episode number 2. It's time for disrespectful offers. I've been begging people to do the work in Days on Market and write it. We're going to talk about it in a real life example. But before we do, Beth, how can people reach out and, more importantly, get a referral from a top 1% agent to other top agents?
Yeah, so people can find me at bethtraversogroup.com. I'm also pretty easy to find on social media, and I am in the One Rental at a Time Facebook group if people want to find me in there. So look forward to connecting with more of the One Rental at a Time community.
Yep, folks. And if you don't know, birds of a feather flock together. If you want a top 1% agent in your market, you might as well use my Rolodex and Beth Traverso to get access to that. Thank you, Beth.
Thanks. Thank you.